Hey, my name's Mike, and in this video, I'll show you how to make a successful Shopify store that ranks on Google and maximizes profits. And this isn't the first time I've done this. So far, I've taught over 1 million people how to use Shopify. So I promise if you watch this video and understand what I'm saying and take notes, you'll have everything you need to make a successful Shopify store, which could completely change your life. So first of all, congratulations on taking the first step and clicking on this video and deciding that you want to learn how this is done. A lot of people ask me if now's a good time to do it or maybe if it's too late. And honestly, the answer is there's never been a better time to make a Shopify store. There's tons of new features, tons of new integrations, and these unlock massive opportunities and ultimately help you improve conversions. And we'll talk about what these are throughout this video, but also don't worry if you're an absolute beginner and know nothing about this. This is a beginner's tutorial, and Shopify is my personal favorite to recommend because it's just so perfect for any experience level and any size store. You can start off as a beginner with one product and you can whip up a store based on a template in just 10 minutes. Or if you'd like, you could scale that to a multi-million-dollar business with dozens of products in a deeply customized store. Now, for many other Shopify tutorials on YouTube, and nothing against them, but you'll see that there is a link in the description with a $1,000 course. So the tutorial tends to only show you a little bit on the surface and then withholds some of the most important secrets. But I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. This is a complete Shopify tutorial with no upsells, no courses. I don't want your money. Just free information. So this is going to be a lengthy one. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of information. Cool. So let's head over to my laptop now. We worked with Shopify to get you an extended trial period and save you some money. So make sure you go through that link when you get started, or you can go to santralmedia.com/Shopify, type that into your browser, and you can get started. So on my browser, I'm going to type in santralmedia.com/Shopify and hit enter. And I'm going to enter my email address and just kind of go through a couple questions right here. It doesn't really matter that much what you answer for these. So for some of them, I might just skip them. It's really just going to tailor what your homepage actually looks like, what your dashboard looks like. And we can choose our location, for the primary location at least. And now we can go and create our Shopify ID. So I'm going to make this with email, but of course you could sign in with Facebook or with Google or with Apple if that's easier for you. And that'll bring us to a page that looks something like this. Now, before we can do anything on Shopify, we need to select a plan that can unlock all of the tools on Shopify. So we're going to click on select a plan, and it's important that you choose the right one. So you have several different options here, 3 different options. Right now, they all show exactly the same price. So you want to be mindful of a couple things when choosing the right plan. The first one and the most important is going to be how much sales volume you're actually going to be driving. So if you're selling a lot, like a lot of product, then the difference between 2% and 0.5% might be greater than the difference between $29 and $299. And you can just do some really basic math on this. So the difference is going to be $270, and then you can divide that by 0.015, meaning 1.5% difference. And that means if you're selling more than $18,000 in revenue per month, then it's worth it to go with the advanced option there. But since we're just doing an example store and I don't have any sales volume yet, I'm not migrating from somewhere else, I'm gonna go with the basic plan. This is the most popular, and it's easy to upgrade later on if you want a different plan. But for most beginners, $29 a month, actually $1 for the first 3 months is pretty great. Then we do have 2 staff members, so you can grow to some extent before you have to upgrade. You can have point of sale, you can have basic reports, and you still get a 77% shipping discount. So I'm gonna go with the basic plan and click on choose basic. But like I said, for a single product store with no volume being sold yet, I'm gonna go with the basic option first, and you can always upgrade this later on. So I will select basic. I'm going to pay yearly. You save a ton of money by paying yearly. And even if you choose to pay yearly, it is actually still $1 for the first 3 months. So we have that extended trial. I will confirm the billing cycle. And now I'm just going to add my own business address and my payment information and then submit. So that will bring us over here to our Shopify dashboard or homepage. This changes from time to time, so don't worry if it looks a little bit different from this. But the first thing we want to do, the first thing I like to do before designing the actual website is set up our first product. This makes it so much easier when you're designing the website. You can just import everything rather than having to add images and text individually. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So the first thing I want to do, of course, you could do that right from this little dashboard here, but in case that's not appearing for you, or in the future when you want to add another product, you'll go over to products on the left side. And within there, you can say add your products, or you should say add a new product if you already have a product. And here we're going to add a title and a description. We can add media, and I'll talk about everything below that in a second, but let's add the first couple things here first. So I have a little example product. I'm going to be calling this the Aurora Hub. It's like a little phone charger slash lamp slash kind of many things in one that can go next to your bed. So I'm going to call it the Aurora Hub. So I have about a dozen photos. I'm going to add those. And once you have all the photos, the first one, the largest one, is going to be your primary photo. So you can rearrange these very easily just by clicking on the little 6-dot array and dragging them around. I really want this one to be our first photo. I think that looks really nice. And then I think there's a duplicate right here, so we can select that one and we can delete that file. Yes, we can delete that, and we can rearrange these into a nice order that I think would make the most sense. So maybe we want this one next. Maybe we want this one after that. And so you can kind of just go through this and rearrange them. But now that we have the title and we have the photos, let's go and add a description here. Now, I used to recommend going to ChatGPT and having that write it for you, but Shopify has added some AI of their own. So on the top left, you can see this little generate text thing. I'm going to click on that. If you already have a description, use your own description, but sometimes it's easier just to use this right here. So this is and then the tone of voice, I mean, you can try different ones. Let's just try maybe expert, or we could say persuasive maybe would be a good one. So we'll say generate text and see what it comes up with. There we go. So we'll keep that right there. And now we have our little description. And now we can scroll down and get into these other things. So first of all, we can choose the price of this. So maybe this is going to be like $39.99. You could add a compare at price. So this will say like what other people charge. I'll have a little crossed out. So if you want to add this, you could just say maybe like this one's normally $49.99. Other places, we do charge tax on this product. We'll talk about tax later on in the video. And then if you want to, something that Shopify does really well, which is very convenient, is tracks profit, margin, and inventory. And so adding those details in here can be very helpful if you choose to do that. So cost per item, let's just say we're able to buy this for $13, and the profit, it's calculated there, 67% margins. We are going to track quantity. If you're drop shipping or if it's a digital product, you won't be tracking quantity. But for this one, let's just say we have physical inventory, so we can track that. And so in our shop location, let's just say I have like 250 units ready to sell, and we're going to add a SKU there. So we'll call this 10,001. And you could continue selling when it's out of stock if you want. So that's going to be like a back order type of thing. That'd be great if you plan on building it yourself and you just, it is back ordered and eventually you'll build some more and sell them. But I'm not going to do that for this right here. And then down here, we can add the weight for shipping reasons. And if you have other colors, you can add other variants. So this is great if you are selling clothing, usually is where you'd add this. You could add size, color, material, style, whatever. And so let's just say maybe if I had two, just to kind of show this right here, we can have, let's say black, and then we can add, the next value would be white. And so I'm just gonna leave two right there, just if we have like two different clock styles, which it looks like there are two different ones in these photos. We've got a white one there and a black one there. So I'll have two for this. And down here, we can have different prices and different quantities as well. So let's just say I have 250 of each, and they're both 250 on hand, ready to sell. And so that's gonna be tracking our inventory. We can scroll across, and sorry, I accidentally selected that. As you scroll across, we have an automatic, it populated the SKU, which is stock keeping unit. And now we have 10,002 is the next one. And so now we have our two products ready to go. Down here, this is very, very important. A lot of people forget about this. This is the search engine listing, essentially your metadata. So if somebody finds this in Google, if they look this up and they see it on Google, this is what it would look like. So by default, it just says Aurora Hub, kind of a basic, like we might want to add a little bit more detail to the title. So it's not just a simple little thing like that. And then down here, this is the description. If we want something that, like it just took it from the description above, which is a pretty lengthy description, maybe we want to edit that, and you can instead either change the title here or change like what this description is, as well as the URL handle as well. So the URL handle by default is just Aurora Hub, nice and clean. I like that. But of course, like I said, you can customize all of this. Now we have that populated. Let's go back up to the top, and a couple things on the right side. We have a couple little blocks over here we might want to check out. The first one, the status, this is active. If you're making a new product and your store is public, you might want to make a draft for a new product until you're ready to go. But for this, we're going to say active. Nobody's on our website right now anyway. Then publishing, this is going to be on those sales channels. We'll talk more about sales channels later on in the video. But of course, you can choose like the markets and things like that. Again, we'll talk about that later. Product organization, this is really the one I wanted to focus on the right side here. So product category, we can add all of these details here. If we have search tools on our website, it will be very helpful. You can add collections and tags and product types. And so for this, I'm going to leave all of that blank. We don't really need that, but it is something you can add. So now that we have this product ready to go, we'll say save. And now our first product is ready. So if we click on products on the left side, you'll see our first product has 500 in stock, has 2 variants. And if you ever want to look more into your inventory, on the left side under products, you can go to inventory. Makes perfect sense. And here it'll show you, of course, how many you have, how many are committed, so you're going to be shipping them, how many are available and on hand. And you can always customize these numbers as you place new orders and you have more inventory. Of course, we also have collections, kind of touching on this very quickly because, again, making collections now is going to be useful when we make our homepage and other parts of our store as well. So let's talk about making a new collection. So there's one by default called homepage. We're going to customize that later, but let's start off with create new collection. So this is going to be, I don't know, let's use an example. If this was a clothing store, maybe we'd have like the fall collection. For this one, maybe we will have the iPhone collection. Maybe we have a couple other products that are related to iPhones, maybe a specific like a lightning charger or something like that. And so down here we can have some, so I'm just going to add a quick little description there. And then the collection type, we can choose if it is automated based on product tags, like I said before, or you can manually select them and put them in. So if you have a lot of collections, if you're like a big clothing retailer, then automated is going to be easier. When you make a new product, you could just label it as like t-shirt, blue, whatever, like, and it'll just automatically go into the right collections. But for this, because it's a small website, I'm just going to manually do it. And so now we have this one ready to go. We can add an image. So for the image, let's just go and say, I think here we go, image of some iPhones. And we'll just use that. So say cancel, we'll say save. And so that's going to be our iPhone collection, just a picture of some iPhones right there. I don't know, just you get the idea of what we're doing. Now we can say save, and we have this collection ready to go, the iPhone collection. But now if we go back to products, we want to add maybe 1 or 2 of those products into this collection. So we only have 1 product right now, of course. If we click on Aurora Hub, we can go down on the right side, and we can add it to our collection. So if we click on collections, we can select iPhone collection, and now it's going to be added to that one. So for the purposes of this video, I think 1 product is sufficient, but you can add many other products here, including digital products. And really the only difference with digital products is when you go to the shipping category, you can just deselect this product requires shipping, and you'll have a digital product ready to sell. So that'd be great for ebooks or music or video files, PDFs, whatever. You can sell all of those through Shopify as well, and you'll be selling them as a digital product. Now, one thing to mention is gift cards are not a digital product. Don't go trying to list a gift card there. If you want a gift card on the left side under products, you can go down to gift cards, and here you can start selling or issuing gift cards. Issuing, of course, if you just have like a one-off, you want to give a gift card or sell one, you could do that, but you can add a gift card as a product right there if you want it. So I'm going to actually do that very quickly just so we have more products to show you later on in the video. But we could say My Store gift card. Sure, we'll call it Aurora Hub. Now just add an image, say this little gift card photo right there. We can have different denominations. So let's just say the lowest one, probably not $10. We'll say 25 is the lowest. And we can add that to a collection as well. Just add that to the home page. So we'll say save. And now we have our second product, which is a gift card. Like I said, easy to add over on the left side. If we go back to products, it's obviously not being tracked through inventory, and it's a gift card. All right, so let's go back to home. Now, the first thing we wanted to do, like I said, was make a product. The second thing is going to be to actually customize our website. So on the left side, you'll see sales channels here, and this will eventually be more populated. These are all the different places you can sell your product. So by default, we have our online store and we have point of sale. So point of sale is like if you're at like a pop-up shop and you sell something in person, you can accept credit cards and just do it all through your Shopify store. Other sales channels might include eBay. If you're selling on eBay, you could have Facebook, you could have like Instagram. You could sell in quite a few different places, and you can add sales channels as well. Right over here, you can see TikTok's another one, Google, YouTube, Instagram, very common ones. But let's focus on customizing our store first, just our online store here. So I'm going to click on online store, and then I'll bring up a menu of a couple items below, the first one being themes. Now, we want to change the theme, and the theme is really going to make it a lot easier for us because it'll populate most of the entire website, and all we have to do is go in and change some photos, change some text, and you really don't have to do a lot of website development. That's really one of the main things that makes Shopify so easy to use. And then you can go down to the theme library. So there are a lot of free themes, as you can see right here, but we can go and check out far more than that just by going to visit the theme store. So we click on add theme. So we can click on explore themes, and from here, like I said, we can select the free themes. There's about a dozen different free themes, and a lot of these do have like different variations as well. And there are 137 paid themes. Like I said, by default, I'm always tempted to just check out the free ones, kind of save some money, and it's a little extra work to customize the website, but it is worth it to at least check out the paid ones. Usually they're like maybe $200 for a, well, some of them are about $300 now, and you can, these do look a lot better. So if you have the money, go for it. But for this video, I'm going to go with the free theme for now. And we can scroll down and see, like, they're a little more basic, but I think we can still get the job done here. So this one, I've always really liked the Origin one. Just very simple, streamlined, very, pretty modern. So I like that one. Let's see what other ones we have. We can just click on any one of these, by the way, and it'll show you what the website looks like if you just go to View Demo Store. And you can kind of interact with it and see what it would look like. So this one looks a little bit more like a print copy is kind of how I would describe this with the text and everything there. If you have multiple products, this is probably a good one to use. I don't have multiple products, so I'm not going to use Taste. So I'm going to go with Origin. If we go down here and click on Try Theme, this will automatically add it to our store, but it doesn't automatically make it our default theme. This is probably the most common question I get. People get the theme and then they're like, hey Mike, why is it not showing up? Like, I still have the same Dawn default one. And the reason is because you didn't go down here and actually publish it. You have to click on publish. That way it'll become your main theme that's being used on this store. And then we can go and remove the password. We'll do that in a second, but let's wait for this to actually add the theme. All right, so now we have the theme. We're going to click on publish. We will say, yes, we're going to publish that. So now we can go and customize that. If we simply click on customize next to the theme, we will be brought into the whole editor here. And so this editor, super easy. The first thing I want to show you is this block right here, the featured product. Rather than going in and editing everything individually, if we just click on that, on the left side, you see you can change the text and everything like that. Let's actually go and select a product. And so for this, I think Aurora Hub is our main product. That makes sense. I'm going to click on that one. And boom, it automatically populates that. And I think that looks really good. Very clean, very easy from the start. And even though we can customize that, there's very little I want to change about that. So we'll confirm our selection. And now let's click on the little back arrow there. So kind of a quick little rundown. I wanted to do that first, but now that we have that, a quick rundown of how this actually works. On the left side, we have all these different like banners, elements, sections, whatever you want to call them. And so first one is going to be the announcement bar on the top. We can customize that. Then we have our header, which is outlined in blue. When you hover over things, they outline it in blue. We can add other sections above this. Then we have our main template, which includes the rich text on the top. That's the title of the product. We have our featured product. We have an image banner below that. We've got more text. They call it rich text. It's going to be just not plain text, like a title, for example, is what it is. Then we have multi-column down there. And of course, we have our footer as well on the bottom, which we can then customize. But if we want to add or remove or relocate any of these sections, it's very easy to do. All we'd want to do on the left side, so let's kind of collapse these so you can see what this actually looks like. If I close these, now this is like the general big picture layout of our website. If I want this rich text on the top, like I don't want that to be up there. I could either delete it by clicking on it and then going down to remove section, or I could relocate it. So let's delete this one. I don't think we need it. This looks pretty good on the top. Now, let's just say we want this little photo to be below the testimonials. If we click on the 6-dot array, we can click and drag it below rich text. And just like that, you're able to relocate everything on here. It's very easy to do, but I can see I accidentally put it between the testimonial, like the title and the actual testimonials. I don't know if I really want that. So again, we can click and drag this up. And now they're lined up where they should be. So the image banner is great and all, but let's talk about how we can add other sections. There are quite a few options here, including featured collections. Like we said, if you have like a iPhone collection, maybe you can have a collection there. Well, we have kind of a collection list. So if you have a lot of collections, the fall collection, the summer collection, whatever, you can have that listed as well. We can add text. We already know about that. Image with text, an image banner, which is kind of similar to what we already have. We just have an image banner without the text below it. We can have a slideshow, we can have a collage. I like the collage idea, we might go with that one. We can have multi-column, multi-row, collapsible content, so that could be like FAQ. I actually do like that. Let's add that down here. Just by clicking on that, we now have FAQ, so I'll keep that there. And we can add another section as well. Let's go and say, let's add a collage as well. And I think the collage, I'd really like that to be above the collapsible content. So the collage right now is an image, a product, and a collection. I don't need it to be an image, a product, and a collection, so we can actually go and delete those. We can change them. So we'll remove that block. We can remove this block, and we can remove this block. So now we have no blocks in this, but I'm going to add, first of all, the product. I think that we need that. The second thing I can add is maybe going to be an image, so we can have another image of the product. And the third thing maybe is going to be a video. So we can have an image, a video, and the main product right there. So if we click on any one of these, it'll kind of go another layer deeper here, and we can select the product. So this is going to be, again, the Aurora Hub, which looks good right there. I think that's good, so we're going to confirm the selection. We'll click on the little back icon. And now for the image, we can select an image. I have a couple uploaded already. Let's just say maybe one with a little more detail. Let's say this one right here. We're going to say done. It's a little more detail about it. And we'll say back to image. And then we can add a video as well. I don't think I have a video for this. So I don't have a video for this product, but I'm going to just copy and paste one from YouTube. This is just like a general video from Santrell's channel. And we can add some alt text. So we could just say an auto GPT tutorial, completely unrelated, but just to kind of put something in that's placed down there. I'm going to do that. So we'll click on the back icon. Oh, I forgot to add an image banner. Or an image cover. So cover image right there, we can go and select one. And so for this, I don't know, let's just say that right there. Maybe this is like a little promo video somebody could watch, and they can click on that and they can learn more about it. I don't know, you get the idea there. We'll click on back. And so now this little collage, I think looks pretty nice, but maybe if we want this picture to be bigger and the product to be smaller on the right side, we can do that simply by rearranging on the left side, just clicking and dragging the image above. And now look at that. That makes sense to have that as the larger image and then the product over on the right side. Maybe we could have two products on the right side. I think this looks good as it is though. Okay, so now you understand the featured product, we understand the collage, rich text, it's pretty straightforward. All we wanna do there is just double click on any text we want to change and we can just type into that. So the top, we could say the reviews, testimonials. So I don't need to change the reviews or the testimonials, but these three columns down here do need to be changed. You can just click on any one of them and we have a heading and we have a description below that and a link if we want to add a link in there. We can add a button. So I'm going to, and we can add an image as well actually. I'm going to start off with the heading and we can click on the next one. So that's how you go about editing those. Like I said, you can add an image above and you're getting the idea probably by now of how to actually edit this. So if we click on the little back icon, we now have all these sections completed really. I just want to go down and probably the only two I need to change would be the image banner and of course the collapsible content. So if we click on image banner, so I'm going to select the first image being, let's see, we're going to upload a new image and I'll go with this wide one right here. And then if you wanted a second image like side by side, you can add that down there. I don't really feel the need to do that. We can also change the opacity if you have like a different background on your theme. I don't have like any kind of crazy background, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. But if you want it to be less saturated, less vibrant, you could change the opacity there. Like I said, bringing it up to like that or something like that. I don't know. We're going to leave it at regular full opacity right now. The banner height's going to be small. I think that makes sense for this photo. It's going to be middle center. That's the position. But you could reposition like a larger photo. You can move it around a little bit. And you could show the container on desktop. Deselect that if you don't want that. And of course the color scheme, I'm not going to change anything there as well. Now this is kind of cool down here. I don't always do this, but there is a time and place maybe. So you can add image behavior. So you can have ambient movement. So you can see right there when someone's on the website, it kind of moves around a little bit. You can also add like fixed background position. So as they scroll, you could zoom in when they scroll as well. So that's kind of cool. It gives like a parallax effect. For this photo in particular, I'm going to say none and just leave it as it is. It kind of makes the most sense right here. So that's that section. The last one I need to edit, this is really coming together pretty well, guys. I think the last thing I need to change is down here, the collapsible content. So that's the collapsible content. We can choose the basic things about that, and we can click on each individual collapsible row and just add a question and then add an answer. And of course, we can change the icon to anything we want. I think chat bubble probably makes the most sense here, but you guys get the idea. I'm gonna fill out these other two. All right, so now that is ready to go. Now, by the way, one thing you really wanna make sure you're doing as frequently as possible is clicking that save button on the top right so you don't lose your work at any point. Obviously, that's super important. And the second thing you probably want to do pretty frequently is check out what this looks like on other devices. So right here, this is what it looks like on desktop, of course. But if somebody's using it on the phone, which many users will, especially if you're running ads on social media, you'll end up having people view the website like this on their phone. And so this, I still think, looks really nice. It's one of the main reasons I wanted to get rid of that title above the featured product, is because on mobile, I think it looks cleaner like this. Testimonials, that doesn't look good. You can't have the letter S down like that. So let's go and change that to medium. Now it fits a little bit better, but you can see that's why it's so important to check this out to make sure your website looks professional. If we don't like something like this, I just really don't like that. We could go down to mobile layout and say that maybe instead we want it to be like left or right justified, or we could kind of change the settings on this one. Honestly, I don't really like it that much on mobile, so I would maybe even change this altogether, change this image, because I just don't think that looks great on mobile. But like I said, go through and kind of customize this website for your mobile website. Now, there are a couple different things we can change that I haven't shown you just yet. The first one is the header and the banner, and the second one is actually the footer. So going through these, let's start off with the banner on the very top. This is a powerful tool. You can show sales on here. You can have it linked to different pages. You can have different announcements, and that's why it's obviously called the announcement bar. So I'm gonna click on this, and we can say, welcome, we could say use code, and I'm not going to add a link for that one, but we can just have that listed on the top. We can go back, and we can add other announcements as well that kind of cycle through. So the second one could be all orders over $49. And of course, if you want to add a link, you can link to a product, and I'm just going to say maybe the Aurora Hub would be a good thing to link right there. And so now we have those two announcements on the top. The next thing is the header. Next up, we have the header. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. You can choose the positioning of it. We can choose a menu. Right now, we don't have any menus here, so we can create a menu. And so, well, we do have menu, we have main menu, but I'm gonna create a menu first. So if we go and click on create menu, it'll take us back to our dashboard, it'll go down to navigation, and we can make a new menu. So this menu is going to be main header menu 1, and we can choose items. So we're gonna add a menu item. The first item is going to be, the product. So it's gonna be Aurora Hub, and we can choose a product. So we can choose Aurora Hub. So we'll add that one. We can add gift cards. We're gonna add, of course, that's another product, and that is gift card right there. We can click on add. And maybe we also want to add policies, which we actually don't have at the moment. So I'll come back and add this a little bit later. I'll show you how you can actually make all your policies, but for now, we'll just leave these two items. Actually, I want this to be a placeholder, so we'll have this linked to just like a contact page, for example. So we'll say save. Now we have those three things. We can save that menu. And if we go back to this other tab, we should now have our menu there. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna refresh this page to make sure that the menu is appearing. And now we can click on select menu, and now main menu 1 is there. And you can see it's showing up on the bottom. Now, I don't really particularly like the layout of that. So if you wanted to change, you can change like the logo maybe is on the top left, put the logo over there, and we can change kind of where things are located. The drawer, I think, is pretty clean, or just drop down as it is. We can make our header sticky, so when people scroll up, it'll automatically appear. So if they're all the way down here and they just start scrolling up, you can see it shows up. They don't have to go to the top to find that. And we could have a separator line if you wanted to. And of course, if we go down to the bottom and click on footer, once again, we can change everything on the footer as well. So maybe I don't want an email sign up. We can capture emails later when people actually check out, and I'll show you how to set that up as well. But otherwise, yeah, social icons all look good. We can have the country region selector. Let's leave all of this as it is. Policy links, I do want to add that on the bottom, and we will make our policies in a minute, as I mentioned. But that kind of, you can see right here, the color scheme is the last thing I want to touch on. So this is using color scheme 1. There are several different parts of this theme. So let's click on back. Let's go to the top of our website. And now I want to click on the theme settings, little gear icon all the way on the left. So this is going to allow us to change a lot of global things about this website. So for example, the logo, which we currently do not have, I'm going to select an image. And I think I have an image. Let's go and add an image. The logo is going to be this right here, just a basic little logo. You can make a logo, by the way, on canva.com. Super easy to do, and it's free to use. You can upgrade to a pro version if you want. We'll have a link in the description, but essentially, it's a really powerful tool. You can make all types of graphics for really anything, social media, your website, an actual logo. There's a lot of templates you can use, even slideshows and things like that. So there we go, we have our logo there. Now that's going to be on the top. I think that's a little bit small. We can change the width of it, make it a little bit larger. It's still not great. I'll probably redesign that later in Canva, but at least for now, it kind of gets the job done. The favicon image, right now you can see on the top, it's just a little Shopify store logo. That is definitely not what you want. And so this image is going to be on any browser when somebody is using a desktop to visit your website. That's the image that they're going to see up on their tab. So we want to make sure we have a better image for that. And again, I'm just going to use kind of a basic little one I made on Canva. We'll choose this one and we'll say done. So now that's going to be appearing up on the top. And then we can collapse the logo portion and let's go to colors. Now the color scheme by default, I actually really like it. I like the dark text and kind of this like neutral color, the brownish tone, kind of a greenish brown throughout the entire website. So I don't really need to change this a lot, but you can change the scheme right here. You have your own logo, your own colors and everything like that. Change those very easily. Like I said, I'm gonna keep this one because I actually really do like this. I don't think I could make it better for myself if I tried. Typography, usually fonts come in pairs, so there's like different pairing of fonts that go well together. You can look these up, but by default, you can actually go here and change like individual fonts if you wanted to. So we can have our heading font and our body font as two different fonts, which, as I said, is super common to do. And so I can just change, and I can go and change this one to maybe like here. I can say select, and you can see that changed everywhere. I liked it when it was bolder, so might change it back, but of course, we've got all types of different fonts we can work with. That one works well enough. Ideally, it would match the logo, but then we have layout. I'm not going to change anything here with the page width or the spacing of things. We have animations. Again, I don't really like doing too much with animations. It'll slow down your page speed, and that is not ideal for your ranking on Google and also for the experience. If anybody has a slower machine they're using, like you just don't want anything that could make your website seem weird or laggy or slow. So I usually just don't have many animations at all. As far as buttons go, we only have a couple buttons on here, but you can add maybe like a corner radius. I kind of usually like to add a bit of a radius on buttons. So we'll go and add that right there. And now our buttons, you can see, are a little bit rounder. I really like that. So we'll go and close this one for our buttons. And then this right here, the variant pills, these are like the other buttons. You notice that the black and white right there, the two variants, that didn't actually change to the rounded button like what I changed above. So we can change the corner radius on here as well to kind of match so they have the same radius. Just kind of gives it like a slightly different style to the buttons. Not everybody wants this, but I'm gonna leave it like that. We can change the shadow opacity a little bit so it pops out a little bit more. I kind of like having, that's too much. I don't want that much of a shadow. And so, like I said, just go down these and this will change everything about your website. There's really like just so many different things. I'm not gonna waste your time going through all of them, but cart, checkout, those are two that are definitely very, very important. So right now, cart is going to be on the top. You can see it's as a drawer. Same thing with checkout. We can change the background image and different things about the checkout page in particular, but I'm not gonna customize that from here. We can customize that a little bit later. So let's click on the theme icon. So now let's go back up and click on save. And now that is the design of our website, but we're far from done here. This is just setting up what the website looks like. There's a ton of stuff to do on the back end to make sure that it ranks on Google, converts well, and is a good experience for customers in general. So what I want to do right now, before we go, I'll talk about making other pages later. Let's go back to exit. And there are a couple things on the left side I kind of want to walk you through. So number one, we need to go down to settings. If we click on settings, you'll see there's some pretty fundamental information that's not actually populated here yet. So store name is just called my store. We can't have that. That's not good. So we're going to say edit and we're going to change the store name. We're going to change our time zone as well. And we'll say save. And we have our plan. If you ever need to upgrade or check in on the current rate, you can click on plan. Same thing with billing. You can see what has already been paid. We've got users and permissions. So if you have other people, maybe like a co-founder or somebody who's going to be managing your inventory or anybody like an assistant, you can add them right there, add some staff, and you can have two different staff members besides yourself. We can go down to payments. Currently, we're not able to accept payments because we didn't set this up yet. So there's really a couple tabs here, a couple little things you want to work on. The first one is complete the account setup with Shopify payments at the top, and that's going to be allowing you to accept most major credit cards out there, as well as Apple and Google Pay and Meta as well. I've never paid with Meta, but you know, some people, maybe if that's what they're buying stuff on their Oculus headset, I don't know when you'd use MetaPay, but it's there, and like it's nice that you can have that. But additionally, you can have PayPal, so you can set up your PayPal as well as Amazon Pay or other ones as well. So if you click on add payment methods, you can search by provider, and there are a ton of different ways you can accept payments on here. But if you don't like any of them, so let's just say maybe we don't want to have PayPal on here. You can click on manage and you can deactivate PayPal Express checkout. I think you should keep it because having more ways to pay is generally better. Maybe somebody doesn't have their credit card, but they have PayPal on their phone. Like, you want to have that option available for people. So all you want to do is click on a complete account setup, and it'll walk you through. You'll submit the details. You'll set up two-factor authentication. You'll add banking information, and then you'll be ready to accept payments. And by the way, one thing you want to customize when you go to submit the information is, besides just like the details, of course, down here where it says customer billing statement, you want to make sure you customize that so that it says like Aurora Hub or something very obvious, so people don't end up seeing it like a very vague and cryptic thing on their bank or credit card statement and then like ultimately disputing a payment. You don't want to deal with people disputing payments because they didn't recognize what it was when they were reviewing their bank or their credit card statement. So that's going to be this right here. Call it something simple, something obvious that, people are going to know what it is. Then we have checkout. There's usually not a whole lot I would change here, except down here where it says pre-selected. I like to do that so that people by default are opted into our email, and then they can choose to deselect it. So it's just kind of pre-populating the checkbox to say yes before they submit, and then they have to go and deselect that. You could also have SMS. It gets a little tricky, so I usually don't do that depending on where you are globally and who you're working with. Like, you don't always want to have SMS there. Tipping at checkout. I mean, it feels like everybody's getting tips these days. Like, whatever you buy, they're always turning around the little thing that says, like, do you want a tip? So I'm not gonna have a tip calculator on here. That doesn't make sense for a physical product, but maybe like a digital product or something. I don't know. If it's coaching, maybe that would be something you would add. Or if it's like food and you're doing a point of sale, maybe you'd want that as well. Checkout style, we can customize the checkout page. This is what I was saying before. Rather than having the checkout, like customizing it to theme settings over there, it's better to just go to the checkout page itself right here, and we can customize this individually. Now, I don't think there's anything really to customize here. I think Shopify really nails it with their default. So, of course, you've got a little like 3-step process in the top so people know where they are. They have a really simple entry right here. On the right side shows what they're buying. Like, Shopify obviously spent a lot of time optimizing this, and you can tell. So I don't think there's anything to change there. We can also change, what was the other one? The cart. If you go to the cart page, we can change that. Again, not a whole lot I want to change here. Maybe you could change like the background, or I don't even know. I think it looks fine. I think this looks really good, actually. So let's go back to exit where we were, go down to settings, and I think we were down at checkout. So shipping and delivery. This is the next one that is absolutely essential, obviously, to ship any of your stuff, to estimate what the shipping cost is going to be, to have that free shipping deal that we mentioned on the banner on the top, and other things like that. So right here, we don't have local delivery. No, I'm not doing that. Big equipment, maybe you would, but we're not doing that. Expected delivery dates, yeah, they can show a shipping, let's just say 2 business days, and we'll say safe. So that's going to be good so people can have an idea of when they're getting the products, especially if you got to be fast with shipping if you're doing this though. Custom shipping rates, we will create a new profile in a second. And then now let's click create new profile. So for shipping, the first name is going to be main products. Main products, we're going to select the products that are within this. So everything in Aurora Hub, we're going to say done. The shipping options, let's create some shipping zones. So this is going to be USA 1, so USA, United States, right there. We're going to say done. It says 62 states. There's only 50 states. So maybe it has like Guam. Yeah, we're not going to Guam. Let's see what else we have. So really, I just want the 50 states. I'm going to say done. And now we can click on add rate. And we can use a carrier or an app to kind of choose the rate for us. This is like if you've ever sold on eBay, it's what they do there, where they'll kind of allow you to get the shipping label directly, like with the carrier, and it allows you can customize, or it can calculate the price for you based on how far it's going, how much the product weighs, and it really makes your life a lot easier if you set this up. But I'm just going to say, let's say UPS standard, UPS standard. Handling fee could be a fixed amount. Maybe it could be like $2. We'll say done. So now it's going to automatically calculate the time and everything like that here. And so now I'm going to say save. I agree to all of those. All right, and now we have that all set up. taxes and duties, I'm not going to touch on this one. This is something that, depending on where you're selling, look into your local regulations and rules and make sure you're following that for where you're selling as well as where you're shipping to. We have locations as well. I don't have any like pickup or local delivery, so that doesn't make sense. We can change things about the gift card, nothing to do there. Now, we actually don't have a domain yet. This is super important. So for anyone who didn't watch the video until now, they're going to miss out on a really important thing. So luckily you guys have stuck around for long enough to actually get this. I wasn't planning this. I was going to talk about this earlier, but I forgot to mention it. Having a domain is obviously so essential for anybody to find your website. So it's not some weird Shopify store 57 whatever.com. Let's go to domains. If we click on domains, we can buy a new domain or connect a domain if you found one somewhere else. Sometimes it's a little cheaper if you go through like Namecheap or Google Domains or something like that. I'm just gonna buy one through Shopify. It makes it really easy. But of course, if you are connecting, like sometimes it's pretty easy through that as well, depending on where you bought your domain. But buying through Shopify is guaranteed to be easy. So I'm gonna say the Aurora Hub. The Aurora Hub is unavailable. I guess I used that in a previous tutorial. We do have the aurorahub.shop, which is $10 for their first year. I'm gonna go with that. I mean, it's not ideal. You probably want a .com, but .shop's not terrible. So I'm going to buy this domain. It does also have Whois privacy, which is really nice. It'll hide your information related to the domain, so your address and your phone number, which I always recommend for any website out there, so people aren't like finding out more details of you. Even if it is just like store details, it's still nice to have that privacy there. Now you have to go to your email and verify to make sure the domain is actually set up. That's something you have to do with any website, so just click the button in there and you'll be good to go. Okay, so now let's close out of the settings. Let's talk a little bit more about these things up here, specifically the discounts. We had two on the top. We had one that was called Save 10 for 10% off, and we had discounts, another discount for free shipping. So if you click on discounts, we can create two discounts. One of them is going to be, let's say, free shipping. So we can say free shipping. This is not going to be based on a discount code. It's going to be a minimum purchase requirement of $49. And we can limit the number of times it's used. I don't think we need to do that for this, obviously. And we can combine this with product discounts. And it's active indefinitely. Let's leave that. So I'm going to save this. They do need to use the discount code free, so we'll go back to the header and we'll add that in a second. But let's go back, and now the next discount, let's create another discount. And this one is going to be amount off the order, an order discount. So the discount code is save 10, like we said there. It's a discount code, and we are going to make it a percentage. It's going to be 10% off, and there's no minimum in this one. It works for anybody. There's no limit on how many times they can use it. Actually, let's say one per customer. And this can be combined with shipping discounts as well. There's no problem there. So we'll save the discount. Now we have our two discounts ready to go. That's really going to be how you make different discounts. You can see there are a ton of different options for how you can make them. You can also duplicate them. You can click generate and have like specific codes that you would then email to people. But there's tons and tons of options here. Super powerful marketing tool. I wouldn't overlook it. But speaking of marketing, if we click on marketing, we have a bunch of options here as well. So by default, it's going to show us a lot of the analytics, the average order value, some insights into conversion rates and things like that. But marketing can be so much more. If we go down, Shopify allows you to integrate with many different apps out there, including Snapchat ads, Pinterest, Microsoft, SMS bump, which is a great way to send people notifications, when they're like just in general on their phone, as well as for email. But we can go and click on view more marketing apps. So like I said, tons of apps to check out. And depending on where you're planning on advertising, I can make an entire video just about advertising if you want. Please leave a comment below and I will start working on that video. And of course, they have 17 apps here, which seems like not a lot, but Shopify actually integrates with more than you think. So this is not the only way, of course, that you could market MailChimp, and there's tons of other options out there that also work very well. But let's just say if you wanted to do TikTok, you can just click on TikTok. You can install this. We can add sales channel. And of course, this is, like I said before, a different sales channel. So you can sell on TikTok as well. And that's going to be on the left side under sales channels, next to online store and point of sale. So I'm not going to get too much into the weeds on selling on TikTok right now. I actually have a full video on advertising on TikTok. If you want to see that, I'll link that below also. But let's go back to marketing. So with marketing, we have campaigns, and most interestingly, we have automations. So automations could be anything that, I mean, some of these are kind of pre-made, which is nice. So abandoned cart recovery is a big one. If somebody adds something to their shopping cart and then they're thinking about it, but maybe they they forget, maybe somebody rings their doorbell, who knows why, they might not end up following through with the purchase, but if they put their email in already, then you will be able to send them an email and say, hey, you have this in your cart, you were gonna buy it, and now you didn't. So here you go. And maybe you can even sweeten the deal and give them like a discount code as well, and have a discount code that you didn't publish anywhere else on your store, but it's going to be in your abandoned cart recovery email, just to tell them like, hey, we know you didn't buy this, but now is better than ever to buy it. Here's another 10% off. So we can simply turn that on. Like I said, a nice tool to have. We can go to analytics, and this is going to be great once you start having more traffic on your website, on your store. It'll show you like where the sales are coming from. You can really dive into this and learn a lot about what's working, what's not working, and all great online stores out there use this tool heavily to optimize every portion of their checkout experience to find out, hey, maybe people are adding it to their cart, they're going to the checkout page, and then they drop off. And maybe that'll tell you there's something, maybe one of the payment methods they want isn't there. Maybe there's something else, like the messaging isn't right. There's some portion of that you can learn from analytics to figure out where people are dropping off and how to really optimize that and convert better. Finances will tell you a lot more about your profit and your margins and your earnings in general. So this is kind of like a little bit like a P&L, a little bit, but just kind of at a glance, which is nice to have. It's basically analytics, but just in its own separate tab, because you can also see payouts and bill pay and credit and things like that. And of course, you can go back up to customers and see what people ordered. If anybody files a complaint or they contact you, customer service, then you can go here and actually figure things out right there. So now I want to add a couple pages to this website. We'll talk about adding like an About Me page, some blog posts, and of course the policies. But starting off, the policies are a little bit different. Rather than finding them in your online store area, you want to go down to settings, scroll down to policies, and Shopify does this really cool thing where they have some templates that allow you to auto-populate your policies. Of course, you want to read them and customize them for yourself, but it's nice to get a really good starting point here. So for the first one, the return policy, if we just click on Create from Template, you'll see right there, that entire thing was written there. And of course, like I said, it's going to be, you want to read it, so you want to know you have like a 30-day return, free return shipping, and things like that. You can customize this all on your own. And of course, you can manage. Let's stay here. Of course, you can manage that and customize it as you wish. Down here, the privacy policy, if you click on Create from Template, you'll see a very long privacy policy. Again, read this because this is your policy that you just made. But again, it really is easy. It saves a ton of time. And then down here, terms of service, we can add that one from a template. And there is no shipping there is no shipping policy. And so now I am going to click on Save, and we'll go back to, we'll X out of this. We'll go back to online store. And now, like I said, we want to make those two other styles of pages, the blog posts and the pages, just general pages. That could be about us, it could be contact, could be frequently asked questions. Go down to pages under online store. There's two ways you can make a page. One is just by clicking on add page. And this is going to be like, let me just show you. It's really, really rudimentary. Like there's not a whole lot you're going to be doing with this. Just a default page for the template. And it's going to, you can add some text on here, you can add a title. It's not the best way, not the easiest way to edit your page. We can click on Customize Template, and that'll bring you over to the actual Shopify editor, and you can edit the page here. So by default, right now, it's not actually showing us anything there. So it's not really like doing a whole lot. It's not super exciting because it is just the default template. But once you have a lot of text in here, so let me just, so I'm just gonna paste this Latin dummy text, and we can save this one as, this can be like FAQs, that'll be our page there, so we'll save that. And it's just based on, like I said, the default page is the template of this one. If you click Customize Template, it'll show you what it looks like. So this is the same one that's being used on like the 404 page and some other pages on our website. It's not that exciting. You can customize it a little bit more by adding images and videos. You can insert those in this little tiny editor there, but it's not the easiest way to edit them. Another way you can actually do this is if we go back to Theme, and we click on Customize. On the top, you'll see these are the different pages we have, the home page, the product, the collections, And if you click on pages, you'll see we have a couple different page templates to kind of start with. So if we can create a new template, let's just call this one page 2 template. We can say create the template. And from here, you can add other sections. You can add some things in here to make it look a little bit better. And you can use this as a template for an FAQ page or something like that. So maybe if I wanted, where was that? It was a collapsible content. Maybe I want collapsible content on here on the FAQ page. And so you can add that. It'll obviously make it look a lot better, not just like a big word salad as we otherwise have with this. But we can save that, and that's how you can customize different pages on your website. Hopefully you don't need a lot of pages, and hopefully any accessory pages you have are just, FAQs or basic stuff like that. I think a lot of shops generally focus more on the products, and you can add more details on your homepage. So if we click on exit, that'll take us back. And the last thing I want to show you is in blog posts. So you can click on create new blog post if you go to blog posts under your store. And once again, it's the same exact editor we saw before. You can choose a featured image. You can choose the style, the template down here, which is the default blog post, and you can customize that so that, again, it's consistent between your different blog articles. And again, once you customize it once, you won't have to do that any more times in the future. So that's going to be how you can create your blog post. It's something that can help you to gain some organic traffic. And when you're focusing on that, I highly recommend checking out other tools on the internet like SEMrush, or some people call it SEMrush, or Ahrefs is another one. Those are both really powerful tools to show you how well people are converting or going to your website, where you're ranking in search, what kind of keywords you can target for different blog posts in the future, as well as what your competition is doing, again, to help you rank in Google. So for this, like if we're selling this little Aurora hub, maybe a big focus would be on like circadian rhythm and sleep. So maybe we write some articles about circadian rhythm, or why am I tired in the morning, or things like that could drive traffic to get people to buy this. So the very last thing we need to do is, you might notice if we go back to themes, is that our online store is still password protected. There's no reason for it to be now because we have a plan, we have a domain, we have everything ready to go. So all we have to do is click on remove password, and our online store is now ready to go. We can click on view your store, and you'll see right there, we have our online store, professional, ready to go. And of course, you can go through and do a test order. You can do a test order in many different ways by disabling your payments or allowing like cash on delivery, like paying in person. You could add that option if you wanted. But regardless, you want to make sure you test out that entire process. You go to like open a new incognito tab or a new browser, maybe a different device, and go to your website, go and find the product, add to your cart, and go through the entire purchasing process just to make sure you didn't miss anything. No problems with shipping, no problems with anything like that. And it should be, if it's bug-free, you're ready to go and you can start advertising. But I hope you found this video helpful, and I really do wish you the best of luck with your online store. Please leave a comment below and let me know what kind of products you're selling. I'm interested to see what's working for you and what you're looking to do next. So if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Mike O'Brien from Santrell Media, and we'll see you in the next one.